So good evening, sir. I am Dakshan,
Hi.
and hello everyone. Welcome to VLSI for All. Today we have with us Mr. Suresh VSR. He's a top GATE educator and the founder of GATE. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. Today we would like to discuss GATE counseling for EC, EEE, and ES students. So to start off the session, sir, can you tell us about your experience with GATE counseling and how it has changed over the years?
GATE counseling was a very simple process 4 or 5 years back, where every student was ready for any specialization and he was preferring an IIT or he was preferring an NIT or C, his choice as per the convenience. Now it has become a very complicated process because everybody is behind VLSI. The specialization is very simple that even if it's electrical or instrumentation or core electronics, they want VLSI specialization and rest of all the specializations on other side. Whether it is power electronics, power drives, or whether it is communications, or whether it is controls, whether it is interdisciplinary, they don't mind. But VLSI on one side, rest all on the other side. So it's a huge shift, paradigm shift towards VLSI. So it has made complicated. Like somebody with a very good rank, for the sake of VLSI, they're compromising on IITs or maybe on NITs and going to a differently rated institute for the sake of VLSI. So it has become complicated. So in 2020, I made my last video on regarding counseling and how to go for the ranks or how do you check your possibilities, how you check your options. But after 3 years, I felt it's time to remake a video because things have changed in the last 2 3 years. Post Corona, there is a huge demand for M.Tech also. Even in those places where the placement is less, there is a huge demand for M.Tech. Previously, people used to go for M.Tech in only those places where there's huge demand or huge placement scenario. So I made a video again. In fact, it has been related in your channel also, wherein I showed you the possibilities. I've showed you how you can work out. So it's totally changing now, totally changed scenario. So I felt there is a necessity of discussing this once again. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So can you let us know how important is a good GATE rank for admission to a reputable institute like an IIT or an IT? And what are the typical GATE scores to get admission into these universities?
Okay. See, there is no such limitation for that. Depends on category, depends on your specialization choice, depends on a lot of factors. So it's a very complicated thing to tell what is the score, but I feel any rank below 2000, right, or a score of around 500 is decent enough.
Okay.
If it is instrumentation, of course, the rank may be very different. So let me talk about the score only. Whatever year you are, score is normalized for that year, for that topper, for the qualifying marks. So score is an outcome of the qualifying marks that year, toughness of the paper, everything. So let's say 500 is a decent score. For any NIT or IIT, 500 should be a decent score where you can end up in a nice position in life. Could be placements or could be research opportunities. It's a decent score. 500 is good enough.
Okay. So are the GATE scores the only factor that comes into account while admissions to IIT or NIT, or are there any other primary considerations?
70% in IITs is based on GATE score or your GATE rank or whatever you call it. 20 to 30% is, of course, interview based also. Your interview also matters. So 70% is a good weightage. So, but otherwise you have a chance. It's not that GATE score is very poor and you have done it. When it comes to NITs or CCMT counseling, there's no interview. They're directly absorbed. Or if you look at admissions in MS by research or integrated PhD, their interview has got a lot more weightage than the GATE score. Your final interview matters a lot. So if you're for M.Tech, 70% of your marks are based on your GATE score, 20 to 30% on the interview. So lot more factors don't affect this. I mean, other factors don't affect. But in MS or integrated PhD, yes, your interview is a crucial thing. It's very critical. Yeah.
Okay. So are there any specific colleges you would recommend for students who are not able to secure a top rank in GATE counseling?
I mean, there are a few triple ITs where you can opt for. There are also chances of going through what we call it as a sponsored category. If you got a 2-3 years of gap, you can go into sponsored category in IITs also. If you've been working somewhere and if the organization is willing to sponsor you, literally it means you need a gap of 2 years. So there are other means apart from GATE. You can go even in self-sponsored. You got a few seats, but those options apart, I believe GATE rank is the best opportunity. No doubt, other WIT conducts its own exam, Vellore Institute, even WITS Pilani conducts. But still, I feel going through GATE has got the best charm. It gives you stipend and everything. So if you ask me, yes, the chances are there, but they're only 10% better than GATE. I mean, 10% in comparison to GATE. If you say GATE is on a weightage of 100, non-GATE is only 10%. So I don't really recommend it.
Okay. So, what factors should the students consider when choosing a college for M.Tech admissions?
Undoubtedly, it's placement and the research activities. B.Tech, we never talk of research activities, right?
Yes.
B.Tech, you just join wherever you feel the placement is good or wherever the ambience is good or if it's close to your college or if some of your friend is there, you just join there. So joining B.Tech is very casual, but M.Tech, yes, you should look at the research opportunities there, or are there any projects? What sort of labs are there? What sort of professors are there? And what sort of projects they are associated with? What is their exposure level to the industry? That's very important. Above all, the placement scenario is very important because if all these are intact, the placement will be very good. So undoubtedly placement and the research projects, they play a huge role.
Okay. So, are there any scholarship opportunities available for students during the GATE counseling process?
See, the MHRD scholarship, the MHRD stipend is 12,400. Apart from it, you can also get the teaching assistantship and research assistantship, which can also give you some amount. So it depends on the IIT or the NIT where you're working, and it depends on what projects you're associated with and how much they are paying for that. So there is no doubt TA and RA. That's what is called as teaching assistantship and research assistantship. If you go through MS or integrated PhD, the scholarship is 31,000. For M.Tech, it's less, in fact, 12,400. But if you go for an integrated PhD, it goes to even 31,000. So if you're lucky enough, you can be placed in a very good position, and these scholarships can add a lot to your finances and other positions. Yeah.
Okay. So, apart from scoring well on the GATE exam, are there any specific steps that students can take to increase their chances of admission to an IIT or NIT?
Apart from GATE score, very little chance into IITs and NITs unless and until it is in a sponsored category or if it is self-sponsored. I mean, very little chances. So maybe I can say that you need a gap for that. If you're a B.Tech fresher, nothing much chance for entering into IITs and NITs.
Okay.
Very frankly, this is what I have analyzed it. So there are chances, but still, fate. Few chances. Yeah.
Okay. So, can you tell us about the benefits of attending a top ranked institute versus a lower ranked institute for M.Tech?
Yes, the benefits are huge. I mean, the difference is huge. If you go to a top ranked institute, the environment there, वहाँ का जो माहौल होती है, that is totally different. They have a very competitive environment where your peers are very knowledgeable, your professor is very knowledgeable. He associates you with the different people. He may have his own contacts. He may give you some different projects. He may put you into some research. So this is where a top ranked institute is, where its reach is wide. In fact, if you can join PhD, they give you some amount allocated for submitting your project. Anything? Is that
Sorry.
fine? I think
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
fine. Yeah.
So,
So
I'll
MS,
repeat the question. Can you just say that once again?
yeah, sure.
Sorry. So, sir, can you tell us about the benefits of attending a top ranked institute versus a lower ranked institute for M.Tech?
Yeah, the benefits are huge. The difference is huge. Like sometimes you may do your M.Tech, which is nothing better than B.Tech. it may be of no use. You have done it only for formality. You learned, you finished your B.Tech, you got your degree, but nothing new has happened. There are even such chances in low-ranked institutes. But if you do it from a top-ranked institute, it gives you the exposure to the industry. You may associate with a project. Your professor may handle some research project which he may give you as a part for it to do. Your lab may be so beautiful that you have all the facility to do in the labs. So from the lab to the research projects to the professors and their awareness and their acquaintance, it can be a huge difference from a top rank to the low rank. In low rank, it is just like B.Tech. You're going to the college, you're clearing your subjects, you're learning something, you're writing something and coming out. But actually, M.Tech is not that. M.Tech is supposed to be doing some R&D project. Some industry should have funded your professor or your teacher so that the project is being handled by you on live. You're doing the project and you're helping your professor. You're also earning in the process. You're learning in process. You're earning in the process. And you're being associated with that industry later on because you've done the project for them. This is what a top rank institute means. Practically, you're being associated with that industry. Low ranking institute, it is nothing more than B.Tech. So there's a huge difference.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, are there any changes or trends in the admissions or placement processes at IITs and NITs that the students should be aware of?
Pardon, can you please repeat the question?
Yes, sir. So, are there any changes in the admissions or placement processes at IIT or NIT that the students should be aware of?
Not much changes. Well, you should be regularly checking your IITs which are notifying so that you apply in the COAP, portal or the respective IITs. Similarly, you should be looking at the CCMT portal for the cutoffs and all. Because every year, no doubt, the demand for M.Tech is increasing in top-rated institutes, and the demand for M.Tech in lower-rated institutes is reducing. Nobody is going for M.Tech in an ordinary private college now. So the change is that they are going for M.Tech only in those colleges which are worth it. So go through the CCMT portal for the cutoffs regularly. Go through the COP portal. Look at the rules, regulations. How do you lock? How do you freeze? How do you retain your seat? What fee you have to pay? And a lot of things will be there. Go through those portals, right? So that's what you ought to do. So be aware of the CCMT cutoffs, the procedure. How do you lock your seats? Those things you have to look at. That's all. Only two things you have to do: COP and CCMT portal. That's all.
Okay. So, how important is it for students to choose a specialization within their engineering program that aligns with their career goals, and how can they go about by making that decision?
No, the first thing is specialization makes a huge impact. But when it comes to M.Tech or when it comes to, very frankly, if it comes to IIT, it's the IIT that makes an impact because every specialization has its own importance and it has been there because some or other industry has been sponsoring it or behind it. So it's not that you do VLS and then there is only future for VLS and the package is high. You do any specialization, you will be absorbed some or other way because the industry that is behind it is going to absorb you. So in IITs and top NITs, I'm telling this. Every specialization has been there because some or other research is happening there. You look at suppose nanotechnology, a specialization. It's because most research of nanotechnology funded by some company happens in that IIT. Therefore, they have got that specialization. Why is it that nanotechnology is not there in some other IIT and why is it in a specific location? Because geographically, there is some research happening there. If you look at IIT Hyderabad, it's grown so fast as one of the best institutes because of the industries that are associated near and close to Hyderabad. So most of the industries near and close to Hyderabad, they give the projects to IIT Hyderabad. That's the reason why it's grown so rapidly. So specialization is all about, it's all about which industry is behind it. Who are the people who are actually behind it? So no doubt specialization has its own importance, but I think you can go for any specialization as long as you don't mind VLSI being the on your bucket list always. You can go for any specialization. Yeah.
Okay. So, from this answer, I get that if you don't have a clear idea, you can go with any specialization of your interest. But once you join the program, what is the process to change your branch if you develop an interest to another subject?
No, very little chance. After you're absorbed, I don't think there's any chance to change your specialization. It's not B.Tech where you went for mechanical and then you're going for computer science after first year. That chance you don't have. I mean, you have to again rewrite gate exam and then come out and take a fresh entry. It's not that easy. So before you join itself, you have to make it clear that what you're going for and why you're going for. But most specializations are similar. Like if you look at VLSI, it's also sometimes called as microelectronics. Sometimes it's called as embedded. Sometimes it's called as integrated electronics. So they're all similar. So you have to align yourself with that specialization which you already had in mind, or something similar to it. Don't go for a totally new one and try to go there and change your specialization. That's not easy.
So, how important is a good gate rank for securing a job in a PSU?
Yeah, PSUs at one time they lost their charm and people lost interest in PSUs. In fact, in 2020, it was a very horrible situation that even somebody with 50th rank couldn't get a good PSU. So it's true that most people have lost interest in PSUs. But of late, if you look at 2023 scenario, it's again totally changing. Quite a few PSUs are coming, and I think you will get an interview call for sure if your rank is anything close to 500. Below 500, you will get a call for interview. Placement chances more depends on the interview and your performance there, and what ambitions you got and how you performed in the interview. But otherwise, it's improved here. Now this year, in fact, a lot of PSUs have come into GATE and they're absorbing from EC electrical. Especially, I'm surprised to know that ISRO for the first time is not conducting their own exam. That's very surprising. Generally, NTPC, ONGC, these people come through GATE. DRDO, of course, has its own pattern, its own. BRC takes through GATE and again a separate exam. So ISRO coming is a surprise this time. And maybe we're expecting even BSNL also to align in this way, though we cannot comment about anything, but still there are quite a few people who are going to be aligned. So let me say that a rank of 500 is decent enough for PSUs, at least for a call. But you have to wait because every PSU doesn't have a counseling at the same time. So you have to wait until October also sometimes. You may be even placed next year. Sometimes PSUs call in 2024 with a gate rank of 2023. So that's a long journey. You have to wait for it. Yeah.
Okay. So, are there any PSUs that offer a guaranteed job based on just the gate score?
No, interview is a mandatory thing.
Okay.
Very rare that, there are few cases, but interview will be conducted. The gate score can guarantee you an interview call, but it cannot completely say that they'll take it on gate score itself. Formal interview will always be there. And that weightage may be sometimes 50% to 50-50, or it can be 30. But you cannot say that completely on gate score, you are going to be just absorbed like that. There'll be an interview, no doubt.
So, apart from a good gate rank, how important is work experience and academic record important when applying for a PSU job?
Well, gap, one thing people ask me is about the gap between studies and the job that they're going for. That doesn't matter at all. I mean, gap has not much of importance. In fact, if you have a gap, sometimes you can even show it as work experience, provided you can show the proper proofs and the proper exposure to that work. So when it comes to PSUs, I don't think much impact will be there if you have a work experience. Yeah, it's a rare chance that your work experience exactly matches to the PSU work experience. Then you may have an added advantage. Otherwise, you have work experience in an X field and the PSU wants an Y field. It doesn't mean that X and Y will be immediately connected. But if your work experience is X and that is also the PSU requirement, coincidentally, you have worked, then they do have an advantage. And that is, of course, you'll get some additional points in the interview. But otherwise, if you are a fresher and if you're applying for a graduate engineer trainee GET in a PSU, you're on par to any experienced person also. You're on par. So it doesn't have much of, issue. But academics, yeah, if your academics are good, no doubt you will be performing well. You will have some priority. Your backdrop does have a priority. especially if you are good in academics or if you come from a very reputed institute, you fairly have a good chance of being absorbed than from a person compared. That comes when there is a tie in the marks, or that comes when there is a tie in your score. Then your backdrop will be preferred, your academics will be preferred. Yeah.
So can you suggest any online resources that students can use to prepare for GATE counseling and intake admissions?
Yeah, my own video is there. We just come out. And I've been doing that video last year or 2 years back also. I've done with what are the possibilities, what are the possibilities, what are the specializations. So frequently we do such videos. I've been doing it very actively for EC students. What specializations are available? What are the, what are the possibilities and all, we are doing it. So a lot of resources are there. But hopefully we are also planning to come out with a software which will map directly. If you enter your score, it will tell you where all you can apply. So that software we are planning. But the thing is, things are rapidly changing every year. Like if you look at electrical, last year the paper was okay. Now this year the topper itself has got around 60 odd marks. So since the field is so dynamically changing, and especially because of COVID, things have changed. So we are getting it very tough to predict every year. Exactly, prediction is getting very tough. But yeah, we have done a few videos which you can use for checking things. Anyhow, CCMT portal is very fair. It tells you the last year cutoff. So they're almost there. CCMT portal काफी इसमें काफी clarity आ जाएगा. Next.
Yeah. So, lastly, do you have any words of encouragement for students who may be struggling with the GATE exam or M.Tech admission?
See, let me just tell you about GATE exam. It's losing its charm every day, and people are reducing only because there are a lot of shortcuts to success. Nobody is ready to work hard. Moreover, in this world of communications, social media, false propaganda goes very fast than the actual reality. Nobody wants to believe in reality. 10-15 फेल्योर्स हैं जिन्होंने फैला दिया कि गेट में कुछ नहीं रखा है, वो फैल जाती है बहुत तेजी से, और वो फेल्योर्स पक्का हर साल लिखते रहते हैं. So that's why GATE is losing its charm. But genuinely, if you write GATE exam with all the hard work, you got very good results. I have seen my own students who have started their preparation first year in COVID time, and after final year or in their final year, they're the toppers now. Some of the toppers who have referred my name, the people who have started very genuinely in second year. They have not told anything that GATE is not useful, GATE with matli ko aisa kisi ne nahi bola. So all the toppers have been preparing genuinely and they've become toppers. So GATE is only for now those students who are willing to do the hard work. They're positive in life. They know that GATE is going to take them to good position in life. अब जो नेगेटिविटी फैलाने वाले हैं कि गेट में कुछ नहीं रखा है, they of course they know that they could not succeed it. That's why they spread like that. So in the world of social media and in the world of this lies propagating faster, I tell you, GATE is still got its charm. GATE लिखने वाला बंदा बाकी बंदों से अलग है. Is going to go to a different level, obviously, than the people who don't write GATE. That's all.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very inspiring. So thank you once again for spending time from your busy schedule for the session. I am sure that the session will benefit lots and lots of students. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
So right. My
Should we wind up?
question, sir. Yes, sir.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye.